comic book fans, and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video. And it is that time of the month where I do my 10 comics I think could rise in value over the next 12 months. So here are my 10 spec books for February 2022. As usual, disclaimer, this is speculation. These books could go up or down, but my view is that these are pretty good spec books. Right, okay, I'm doing it slightly differently this month, so I'm going to base it by looking at CGC and looking at these books. As usual, I own all these. Some of them I have owned for a long time because I've been collecting for a long time, and some I have acquired recently. Okay, so my first spec book for the month is America issue 1. So this is the first titled series for America Chavez. Why am I including this? Well, we have seen from the trailers that America Chavez is going to appear in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, the reason I have selected this one is that this has not spiked due to the trailers. If we look here at the 9.8 on Go Collect, you can see here that yes, this book went up in around June last year when the whole market took a rise, but it's been pretty steady since then. The last sale this month was for $185, which is off the peak. This doesn't appear to have spiked despite the trailer. So I think this is actually a pretty good buy at the moment, and I suspect that when we get the film out, that this America Chavez book will rise in value, and I suspect the reason we're seeing her in the film is that we're going to see more of her in the MCU. So I think this is good spec. And that is my first pick for February, a America number 1 from 2017 in a 9.8, and if you can get one for around $180 or less, I think that will be proved to be good value. Right, my second pick is Marvel Spotlight 32. What is Marvel Spotlight 32, you may ask? It is the first appearance of Spider-Woman and the origin of Spider-Woman. Yep. And now this is a book that is reasonably expensive, but there are rumours that we are going to get Spider-Woman or a Skrull playing Spider-Woman in the Secret Invasion series on Disney Plus. So what do I think here? So, a 9.8 of this is now 4,500. It has risen a bit. This is a comic that, and my recommendation here is for a slabbed 9.0. If you look at the price of the 9.0, it's dipped. So in June 2021 it was $630, and it's now showing the last sale was at $500. The 30-day average only $433, and if we look down here, we can see the current issues for sale. There's an 8.0 here for $190. I think that's pretty good. That looks like pretty good to me. So there is my second recommendation. It's Marvel Spotlight 32, first appearance of Spider-Woman, and I think you should be looking at a 9.0 or possibly an 8.5. That 8.5 there for 190 looks good value to well, that's a 5.5. Where was the that 7.5 at 170 looks particularly good value to me, and it's got white pages. Right, next up we have got Amazing Adventures 11. What is Amazing Adventures 11? Well, it is the first appearance of one of the key X-Men not appearing. His first appearance is not in the X-Men series. This is the first appearance of Beast. And he's grey here. He hasn't gone blue yet. And I think with potentially the X-Men coming to the MCU, that this is a first appearance of a major X-Men, which is, I think, currently undervalued. So what am I recommending here? So I'm recommending a 7.5. Let's have a look at this in a 7.5. You can see here it peaked at $362, but it has dipped significantly down to $192. So my recommendation here is to try and pick up a copy of this in a 7.5, and if you can pick one up for less than $200, I think this is a good pickup. Yeah, I'm just having a look here. Yeah, they're looking as if they're a bit higher than that on here, but you know, this is where we are at them currently. So there's a sold price here of $192 in December 2021. If you can pick this up in a 7.5 for less than $200, it's a good deal. My copy is a raw copy. I picked it up about 2 or 3 months ago, and I picked up my raw copy, which is probably to be honest, it's got a lot of spine ticks. My copy is probably a 6.0, 5.5, 6.0, but I picked it up for £40, which I think was a pretty good pickup. So there we go. That's my second recommendation. Amazing Adventures 11, first appearance of the Beast. Right, next up, this is a cover pick. This is, and it's also Black Adam. So we've got Black Adam movie coming up. I think Black Adam's going to be great. The Rock is playing Black Adam, and this is not a one and done thing. I think we're going to see Black Adam in a number of movies. There are not a whole number of great Black Adam covers. This one here by Alex Ross, which is Justice Society America number 23, I think is one of the great Black Adam covers. This is still relatively cheap. You can probably pick a raw copy of this up for less than $20. If you want a slabbed copy, I don't think this is unreasonable. If you want a 9.8, $150. I think this potentially is a good buy, and in a year's time, once the movie is out, I think this is going to be worth more than that. You can see this one here is a 9.6 at $100, which probably pretty good value too. Right, on to my fifth pick. This is Action Comics number 1, the 1988 reprint. I'm currently a big fan of these reprints of classic comics. So Action Comics number 1, I am never going to own unless I win the lottery, which I don't play, so it's a bit unlikely. But I picked up a raw copy of this 1988 50th anniversary, DC 50 years anniversary, for less than $10. And I think as the originals get more and more out of reach, these reprints are going to be worth investing in. If you look here, there's a 9.9 here that's got a fair market value of 1,300. But you can pick up a 9.2 here for $47. So I would look for and look at this. This has actually gone down. If you can pick up a 9.2 of this for $47, which somebody did in January, I think this is a really good pickup. There's a 9.8 here for sale at $250. And there is that 999. Somebody's selling it for 19. How many of those 99s are there? There's 3 of them. Okay, so that is I think that's my 6th pick. And what have we got next? Next up, we have got Miracle Man 15. So we've got Miracle Man is going to be coming into the Marvel comics this year. We got a teaser in a comic called Timeless, where at the end of it we saw the Miracle Man logo. So the Eclipse comics with Miracle Man are going up in value. This is, for me, one of the best issues. This is Alan Moore, my favourite comic book writer. This is the death of Kid Miracle Man. This is an epic comic. This is the first comic in which we really saw superheroes going seriously bad. I mean, the devastation that Kid Miracle Man wreaks upon London in this issue is horrific. If you've not read this, go and read it online, or try and find a copy of this. I think this is a good time to pick this up before we get Miracle Man appearing in the comics. As you can see, it's dipped. It peaked at 549, but a copy sold, a 9.8 sold for $400 in February. I think if you want to get a copy of this, now is a good time to get it. There's quite a few available here, as you can see. A 9.4 here for $150 looks particularly good value to me. So there we go. That's my next pick, Kid Miracle Man. The end of Kid Miracle Man in Miracle Man 15 from Eclipse Comics. Okay, next up, and it's Submariner Spec. So we are almost certainly getting Submariner in the next Black Panther film, Wakanda Forever. We have seen a underwater filming set for the film. So unless we're going to get SpongeBob, which I doubt, I think we're probably going to get Submariner. So I think now is the time to pick up some Submariner keys. My guess is if we get Submariner and he starts appearing in the MCU, it won't be long before we get some of Submariner's key enemies, and one of those is Tiger Shark. And Submariner number 5, fantastic art by John Buscema, is the first appearance of Tiger Shark. And these have been going up. Subbies have been going up. I have been buying subbies for the last 18 months and their prices are rising. My recommendation here is probably to get an 8.0 or a 7.5. You can see here we have had a slight dip. The last one sold for $373, January 2022. Let's just see. So either get a 7.5 or an 8 graded, or look for a raw copy, but the raw copies are getting a bit few and far between now. There's a 6.5 here for $270. I think you need to jump aboard the subby train before it departs the station, which I think it is going to do in the next 12 months. All aboard for Imperious Rex. Okay, next up, pick is Marvel Collector's Item Classics Issue 1. So I'm going to refer back to my Action Comics 1 reprint from 1988 and say the same thing again. I think these reprints of early Marvel titles are a really good investment, with these early issues of Marvel Comics getting out of reach of the average investor. I think people will move to these reprints, especially these early reprints. So I just picked up this Marvel Collector's Item Classics #1. My copy just cost me £40, and I think my copy is probably a 5.5 or 6.0. And in this we get 4 great reprints. Let's have a look here. So we have got Fantastic Four #2, which is the issue in which we first meet the Skrulls. We've got the Amazing Spider-Man, I think it's issue 3, in which we first see Dr. Octopus. We have got Tales to Astonish, which number is this one? Tales to Astonish 36, I think it's the first Ant-Man story. And then we get a reprint of the part of Journey into Mystery 97, most of which is a very poor story about Thor versus the Lava Man. The best part of that comic is the Tales of Asgard 5 pages, which is fantastic. It's a Jack Kirby 5-page story about the basics of Norse mythology. It's far better than the rest of that comic. Right, all of these we get in this Collector's Item Classic #1 from 1965. So you can find, well, I found a raw copy of this in a 6.0 for about 40 quid. If you want a graded copy, I'd go for something like an 8.0. Well, that appears to have ticked up in price. Oh, well, that was in May. What are we paying for a 7.5? Right, so fair market value on a 7.5, $140, but there's the last sale here, which was nearly a year ago. What's going on? Let's have a look here. So we've got a 4.0 selling for 145. We've got a 5.5 selling for 225. Yeah, so I would have said go for something like this. I think that's a bit high. I'd look for a 5.5 or a 6.0 around 200, 250. Or like me, get yourself a nice raw copy and get it graded. There we go. That is Marvel Collector's Item Classics #1. At my 9th pick, it is so we have seen more of the in the Super Bowl trailers. We saw some clips from DC of the upcoming movies this year, and one of the clips we saw was from the Black Adam movie, and we saw a great Hawkman in the trailer. Now, Hawkman is a long-term DC character. You can see. So my recommendation here is Brave and the Bold 34. This dates from 1961. So this is, I think, February 1961 is pre-Fantastic Four #1. A great cover here by Joe Kubert, and this is the first appearance of the Silver Age Hawkman, the first appearance of Silver Age Hawkgirl, and the origin of Hawkman. Now, my copy is a 5. I've had this forever. I collected Brave and the Bold back in the 80s. I probably paid something like £10 to £20 for this. I had it graded a few years ago. Mine is a 5.0. Here we go. You can see here the performance of this. So it dipped off. It's a bit over the place. Looks like around, I would say, $700. Yeah, pay something between, $500 to $600, maybe $700 for this. But I think when the movie comes out, Hawkman is going to get hot. And I think we will see more of Hawkman and more of Hawk Girl in future DC projects. So there you go. That's my next one. Right, there we go. So I picked this up last week for under £10. Why am I suggesting this? Because this actually is the first appearance of Danny Ketch as Ghost Rider. So you'll see here it says on the cover, exclusive 5-page preview of the all-new Ghost Rider. A great cover, and this I think is still under the radar. So Ghost Rider is beginning to get hot. You can pick up a raw copy like I did. My raw looks like a 9.0, something like that. But you know, if you want to get somebody's trying it on here, somebody's got a 9.6 up here. It is a newsstand, and they're asking $1,000. Well, is there any others up here? So there's a 9.4 here for $250. So this is beginning to looks as if it's beginning to take off. So you know, if you can pick up a 9.8 of this for, I wouldn't pay anything like that. But if you can pick one up for $100 or $200, I suggest you're probably betting up, like me, picking up raw copy for £10 to £20. If it's a really good quality one, then get it graded yourself. I think this is good spec. Right, there you go. Those are my 10 spec comics for February 2020. Enough said.